Welcome to Daily Epiphanies. I am your host, Epiphany, and for the next 30 minutes, I will inspire you to take charge of your life. Lovely, lovely. Okay, well, once again, welcome to Daily Epiphanies. We're going to dive right in here today, and we're going to discuss how I overcame depression. Okay, to give you a little bit about my background, at the age of 8, I was diagnosed as clinically depressed, and from there, I was put on several medications from Lexapro, Wellbutrin, and Zoloft. To help cope with the psychological damage that I gained through verbal, emotional, physical, as well as mental abuse that quite effectively impaired my decision making. And I'm here to share my story and encourage anyone who may be experiencing depression, of how I overcame it and healed myself. Okay? To make a long story short, I have had a series of suicidal attempts, and the last one was in 2011. And that's when I knew I needed to have a great deal in my mental health. I didn't want to see a psychologist. I didn't want to see a psychiatrist. I didn't want to see anyone other than myself, because I strongly believed that no one else would be able to help me except for me. So I decided to move away from California back to Virginia. And for the first few weeks, I slept, I cried, I had zero energy to deal with my children or with life. I mean, in general. I literally would open my eyes and it's morning, and I would close them and open them again, and the sun would be setting. I would fall asleep during their homework, and I was out of it because I didn't want to be, back in Virginia. And I was surrounded by people who were very dolorous, full of complaints, judgmental, and I didn't want to be around them. Okay, I knew this. I had the storyline down to a pack, and yet and still I continued the same storyline in my head day in and day out. And I was not aware of why every day looked the same to me, because I lacked the awareness that I was using the same reasons to not get out of bed on that day that I did the day before. Instead of doing something in order to work towards bettering myself while I was in the circumstance, in order to change it, I continued the same waking up storyline with the clenched jaw, angry at myself for the choice that I made to come back. And then one day the sun was setting, and I had this awareness. I saw that the sun would continue to rise and set, presenting a new life day in and day out. And I could still relive the story in my mind over and over again if I wanted to, but it was not going to be as efficient as the one that would give me the results that I really wanted, which was to change the story. So I decided to accept where I was and use where I was to evolve into the person that I wanted to be. I am not saying in any way, shape, form, or fashion that depression isn't real. What I am saying is depression is a mindset. It is a pattern of thoughts and that I had thought over and over and over again, which inevitably led to a familiarized feeling in my body. I am not a psychologist. My studies of myself led me to study other psychologists. I think his last name is Tinchner and Wim Wundit, and this theory of structuralism, okay, which is the study of self. I am just simply a person who has taken countless notes on my mental attitudes through awareness and observation to come to the conclusions about what was causing me to behave the way that I did. And these are just some things that I have learned, and I want to share with you guys today some of the lessons that I have that will be able to inspire you to take charge of your life today. Number one, refusing to accept where you are will never help you take responsibility for the state of mind that got you there. Everything is a habit. Think about it. Remember when you first started tying your shoes and how you were fidgety and uncertain and you lacked the confidence to tie the shoes? And then you gained confidence in developing the skill once you practice it over and over again. And then it became like breathing that you didn't even need to think about it anymore. Okay? So that's what you do with your habits. You do something over and over again, and then you don't even think about it anymore. Okay? You need to know what your habits are. And before you can commit or either form new ones, you need to know what they are. Especially if your habits are not congruent with your journey. Okay? If they're not, you need to know what your habits are. You need to commit to changing them, which is, having the mental attitude that you can change it and then form new ones, okay? The second thing was constantly dwelling on your dislike of the circumstance will prohibit you from seeing the opportunities that surround you or that you could be creating. So if you're looking down the street and you see cars are coming that way, and you're just so focused on what's coming this way, you're not looking this way to see that if you walk across the street where there is a light that says the pedestrians can walk, you can still get across the street. But you're blindsided to it because you're worrying about something that's not giving you the results. Okay? So that's why you need to basically think about, let's not say think about, but know the problem, okay? And then solve the problem. Work on solving the problem. Next, there will be things in your life that happens to you outside of your control. Okay? You have to trust yourself to be able to get through whatever it is that presents itself to you. A lot of the times people fail at life because they don't believe in themselves to be able to get through whatever may come their way. Okay? So you have to believe in yourself. I know it sounds cliche and I've heard it 5 trillion times already. No, seriously. You have to believe in yourself, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's going to come down in one of these other answers. There is no wrong and right. It's what you do and it's what you don't do. It's just that simple. If you want results that are in harmony with your goals, do what you need to do to see it through. I have come to find that a lot of my sadness came from me simply not sticking to what I said I would do and falling back into my old patterns of not doing anything that still gave me the results, just not the kind of results that I actually wanted. So I learned to write down what I wanted. I made it a habit to make sure that I was practicing the new habit until it became me. Repetition is how you change and form new habits, okay? 5, I learned the art of language and how it affected me. I mean, just simply talking about certain things brought me down to my knees, so I learned to treat my mind in conversations with others like a radio station. I learned to switch the channel on things that did not feel good to my body. Once I was aware about how it affected my physiology. So if you sit down and you think about puppies or being in love, your body starts to respond to what you're thinking about. If you talk about drama, your mind and body automatically are behaving as if it is a current event, even if it is already past. You know what I'm saying? This is very important, very, very, very important stuff that I've observed in myself, and I felt like people had the right to know these things, to start being more aware of themselves, of how our minds and bodies are very much so alive, and they respond to what we're thinking. Okay? 6, question what you believe. If the same thought keeps arising, question it by tracing it back to its inception. Okay? Where did it come from? Who said it? Do you still want to believe in it? You know, you'll be surprised of what the mind will hold on to when you don't let go. It's okay not to believe everything that you think. You know, the word believe means to accept something without proof. So why would you believe in something horrible about yourself? And then when the, physiological evidence shows up in your body that is in harmony with what you've been thinking, you can simply not believe how it got there. And then you begin to indulge in daily affirmations trying to talk the belief away. Go back to number 5. I told you, you have to learn the art of language and how it has the power to affect your physiology and psychological state of being. Okay? Number 7, which is my favorite. Your state of being is your real life. Okay? Your real life. I am not talking about what happened last year, the day before. I'm not talking about what could happen in the future or what's happening in the present. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your state of being, of what's going on right now, currently, inside of you. Okay? Is the most important motto for my life. In all caps, do it now. Okay? I remember putting some of the most important years of my life in an imaginary place called tomorrow, and that tomorrow became days, weeks, and months later, or even totally forgot about. So just do it now. You might fall down a little bit, but so does a baby before they learn the art of walking. So your mind will try to keep you doing the same thing. Don't worry. Just think of it as an 8-track that has not upgraded to an iPod yet. It just doesn't get it, so don't worry. And I noticed that the little invisible voice that, was in my head when I went to go start water fasting or work out would say, oh, start tomorrow. You really don't want to do this. Excuses keep you stagnant. They do. You might as well dead if you stop evolving. They don't get you anywhere. And excuses is like, trying to drive on hope. Trying to move a car on hope. You can't move a car on hope alone. It's going to need something else to fuel it. And these things are very, very important to our growth, is to be self-aware, to be mindful, to learn how to pick our thoughts and pick what we allow in our internal space, the same way we pick out an outfit to go somewhere. If we cared about our inside as much as we cared about our outside, we in the world would be so fucking beautiful right now. But because we give so much of our attention to external things, we don't learn to see the beauty within ourselves. So it's very important for us to look within ourselves. I don't know about, all of my listeners right now, but I know as a, kid growing up, I was always taught that there was something outside of myself to be worried with, instead of really understanding, my own internal dialogue, what was going on inside of me. What's going on inside of you is your real world. And yeah, some people might think that it's a sudden case of solipsism, where you actually think that your mind is the only mind that exists and no other minds can exist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that other people's opinions should not exist inside of you. It's just that simple. Everybody doesn't deserve to have their words creep inside. it takes a lot of time to undo a lot of stress and depression. And all I'm saying to you is, whoever you are out there, you have the power to change your life. I'm not saying your circumstances. I said your life. What's going on inside of you got you to where you are. Okay? So if you could just turn your attention to where you're making your decisions and why you're making your decisions, then your life will unfold, in ways that you never thought that it, honestly could. It's very important, to look within yourself. There's a lot of people that talk about debt, or, I'm in $30,000 worth of debt and I just can't believe it. And it's just like, no, seriously, you really don't need to believe it. Something that you believed caused you to spend over $30,000, rack up $30,000 worth of invisible money from creditors that it's not yours. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not judging people, because I've had $6,000 worth of debt from credit cards that I spent when I was 19 and I didn't have the money. But there is an insufficient amount of something going on with you when you cause yourself to basically spend insufficiently. So if you got some debt going on inside of you, you're going to have some debt outside of you. You know what I'm saying? It's a manifestation. So the more that you really take the time to look within yourself, you will understand why I say the things that I say. And no one's going to know you more than anybody. Even if you go to a psychologist, they're still going to, probably look at you from the eyes of Sigmund and Freud, and not from actual experience of looking within themselves. You don't really know. And then on top of that, no one knows you like you know you. You need to get inside and, man, know thyself. So that way you don't need anybody else to say, oh, you got bipolar, you got, schizophrenia, basically trying to loop you into a category with other people who have showed similar, behaviors, in order for them to basically label you as something without actually really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on inside of your mind. That's the first place to start, is to look within yourself and to be honest about what it is that you want in life, and understand that you will get there. But it's going to take a lot of effort on your part to continue to create a shitty life. Okay? It's going to take a lot of effort to look within yourself. Write it down. Some things might be uncomfortable, but the beautiful thing about it, if you can admit it to yourself, once you can admit it to yourself, that's all you need. I'm sharing this with you guys because there are way too many people in the world that are hurting and that are turning away from themselves and soliciting themselves to sex or drugs or alcohol, or to basically sublimate their pain through. We need other healthy ways to be able to effectively kick depression's ass, and understand that there's nothing that we can't make it through if we just continue to look within ourselves and understand what's going on and heal ourselves. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Believe in yourself. I know that I've said this already, and I'm going to say it again. It is, and once you believe in yourself, one day something will happen where you will know. You will go from belief to know. I have seen this with my life. I will talk to you guys in another segment about the power of repetition and how it changed my life, and how wow, it's amazing. Once you really wake up and realize that you are in control of your life, you will stop allowing things to control you. Okay? Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself until you know that your belief is true. And if you're gonna believe in yourself, then I would believe in the best self possible and inspire to become that self every single day. I would not stay down in depression and picking thoughts that keep me depressed and low. And another thing I'm going to say, do not resist your depression. For those few weeks that I told you guys about when I was depressed and going through what I was going through, I allowed myself to feel that. And for a while I lacked the awareness. But once I got the awareness down pat and I saw what was going on, I made it my business to be always aware of myself. And the more aware of myself I became, I had to realize that I needed to change my internal dialogue, my internal images of myself as well. So believe in yourself until you know, until you're surrounded inside by all these beautiful feelings about yourself, regardless of what's going on. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Epiphanies. I am your host, Epiphany. Tune in every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Until next time, think, do,